So hello all, this is the seventh video of Java. So in this video we will work much more on the string, and the previous video we have discussed about the string class, and we have created the different objects of the string, and we have performed different operations using the string class and string method. So there was a good question in the previous class, that how to perform the join. So basically join operation is used to perform with the casting. So also you can give here any string name, anything you want to give here, but the pattern is saying that you have to give here the class name and then method name. So whatever is written inside this will be concatenated by this, whatever you are writing inside this one. Okay, so let me run this one. So the portion of the previous class will get much more clear, and whenever we have time we will discuss much more about such kind of scenario. So give me 1 minute, let me run this one. So you can see that both the string Miss Chandan and dot string has been concatenated by the double quote. Now there is a we have discussed that string is a mutable class, means once it has been created it cannot be changed. In my previous class I have described these all things in a detail. So suppose that this is your heap memory. Okay, so inside a heap memory there will be a string pool. Okay, there will be a string pool. So whenever you will create any string, it will get created here. This one. Whenever you will create any string object, it will be created in the heap memory. Okay, so all the objects of the heap memory are garbage collectible. Okay, now let's come back to the another scenario, that where we want to change the string. We don't want any string which is mutable. Okay, suppose that this is a string str, and I'm saying it's any name like Chandan. It's a mutable. Now I want to make a string in this way that must be mutable, that I can change this string. Okay, so for this kind of scenario, means where we can change our string, we can alter our string, we can modify our string. So we generally use the string buffer and string builder class. String buffer and string builder class. Okay, both the class are very same, and the methods are very same and perform very same operation. But what is the actual difference between them? So before explaining the difference, I will just explain little bit about the thread. Okay, so in the thread class we will work much more on the synchronization, but for the intro purpose I am just explaining. So suppose that you have two thread. Okay, this is one thread, this is two second thread. Suppose that they do, and there is a two resources. There is a two resources. Suppose that R1 and R2. Okay, and this is the thread 1 and this is the thread of 2. Okay, so now whenever you are running a program, it may happen that this thread is accessing this one and this thread is accessing this one. So there is a no problem, because both threads are accessing the different resources. But suppose that because the thread processing is very fast, so it may also happen that both the resources or both the thread are using the same resources, or both the resources is being accessed by the same resource. So in such kind of thing, you can say deadlock may appear. Okay, so synchronization is required. So what does this mean by synchronization? Synchronization means no two methods will be accessed simultaneously. Okay, means two threads cannot access a single method simultaneously also. Okay, so this kind of management is known as the synchronization. Means one time one object or one thread will access the one method. Okay, whenever he will finish this task, he will just break the connection, then he will start his connection. So this kind of process is known as the synchronization. So basically, string buffer class is a synchronized class. Okay, so you can say string buffer जो है, string buffer is synchronized. Okay, and also it is a, that's why it's a thread shape. Means you can apply the thread over here. In the last class we will also discuss much more about the D. So it is a synchronized and thread safe. Because it's a synchronized and it is thread, that's why it's a thread safe. And because it's a synchronized, that means it's a little bit slow. Okay, now string builder is not synchronized. Okay, that's why it's a not a thread safe. Okay, and also it's a fast. Because it's not synchronized means they can access their resources, their methods as per their need whenever they want. Okay, so it's not a thread safe, not synchronized, but very fast, much more efficient. Okay, so we will discuss these all things by an example. Again, I will refresh the previous class material a little bit. So this is about the join. Suppose that I have a string and I am saying that s1 is equal to Chandan. Okay, now I am performing some operation like s1 dot concat, s1 dot concat, and I'm saying that sync. Okay, means I have created a string, I have modified this one. Now again I am creating a string. You can say builder first take. Let's take for first example of the string buffer. Let me make it as a string buffer and I will let my SPF is equal to new string buffer. Now I am using the string buffer class. Okay, so I have created the object of my string buffer class and here I will give it name as a string. Okay, so suppose that let me change some name like this one. Now the here we will use the method append to add the value or this one. Okay, append. There is a lot of method very similar to string class, so you can use them as per your need. Okay, so I will use the append method, this one, and I will say that append dot com. Okay, now again I will use the string builder class. Svd is equal to new string builder class, and suppose that again I have the same string like way to testing, and then I am dot append. I'm saying that dot com. Okay, so now I will print each statement so that you can distinguish what is actual difference is here. Okay, so let me print this one without control space, and I will say s1, then this out control space string buffer, and then I will say this out control space string builder. Okay, so let me run this one. You can see that the Chandan that you have modified, you have added thing, it has not been modified. That proves that strings are immutable. Sorry. Now in string builder, you have created a string way to testing and you have modified this one. It has been modified, and also it has been string builder has been modified. So these string builder and string buffer are mutable and strings are immutable. Now in the second point that I have discussed that they are slow and fast. So let's see this one by an example. Okay, so always remember in Java we used to get the time by there is a you can say method current time mile to get the exact time of the system. Okay, so let me first of all create some. Let me remain this one. Okay, so I will say that, so first of all I will create a integer or long or double whatever you can say, and then I will say that start time, okay, is equal to, I will calculate the current time as system dot current time milliseconds. Okay, so suppose that how do we calculate the time? Let me make it new. How do we calculate the time? That how if a process P1 how much time is it taking? How we will calculate this one? So generally we used to calculate the time in this way. that first of all we will pick a time before starting the process, and then we will run our process, and then again we will pick the time of the completion of the process. Then we will just minus both the time, and the remaining time will become the time taken by that process. So this funda we will apply here to find out which is more efficient or which is more fast and which is more slow. Okay, so I have created a variable for the time as long. Now I will apply a for loop. Okay, so inside a for loop, suppose that I am saying that int I is equal to 0, I is less than equal to, I am taking little bit big so that it may take at least few milliseconds, and I plus plus. Okay, so now I am saying that just append dot in here, means in the same string it will add some string. How many times? Near about 1 lakh plus times. And then I will check how much time it is taking. So I will say that this is out control space time taken by string buffer. Okay. And how we will calculate this one? We will calculate this one by this way, like a system dot current time minus the time which was start time, means before this one what was the time and now what is the current time. Okay, so it will give us basically the total time taken by that process. Okay, now same thing I will apply for string builder class. So I will just copy this one, I will paste this one, and here I will change my object value as svd. Okay, so it will first it will fetch the time before starting the operation, then we will perform some operation on the string buffer class, then he will calculate the time of string buffer class, again we will perform some same operation and with the string builder class, so that we can check which process is taking much more time and which is more efficient. Okay, so let me clean this one first of all. Now I will run this one. Let me run it again. Because program is little bit slow, that's what output is little bit different. Otherwise if you run multiple times you will see that uh, you will see that string builder will take less time and string buffer will take much more time. So let me create again by this way. What I am trying to do, I am just trying to show you that string builder will take very less time, because here a very small operation and we are performing in milliseconds, so time may vary, but in general what will happen, your string buffer will take more time but string builder will take less time. Okay, so also let me modify this one little bit. Okay, so now let me run this one. Okay, now the proper output has been appeared. So suppose that the same process I am doing using the string buffer. Okay, means I am appending something 1 lakh or 10 lakh times, and then we are calculating the time taken by that the string buffer class. Okay, so you can see the string buffer class is taking the 13 milliseconds. Now same process I am doing for string builder class. So you can see that string builder is taking very less time. Okay, so this is the main difference, that you can see every time output will be different. but you can see the buffer value will be higher than the string builder value. So this show or this proves that string builder is efficient as compared to string buffer, but string builder is not synchronized. Okay, so it's all about the string builder and string buffer. You have to use these all things in a, you can say, in your Selenium as well. Okay, now let's start with the exception in the Java. So I hope that it may take some more time. So what does this mean by the exception? Basically, whenever we are performing some operation and there is some or unforeseen event occurs which interrupt our program, so it will become as an exception. Now, always remember there are two types of the exception in your automation world. There will be first will be the Selenium exception and second will be the Java exception. So you have to clarify. You must be able to clarify which kind of exception have appeared. So let me remove this one. I will show you a very simple example. Let me write here a program. Let me create an array. Let's suppose that I have an array like int x is equal to, and suppose that I have a array like this one. Okay, it has some value like 2, 6, 8, 9. Suppose that it has some value. Okay, now suppose that I am running a for loop. Okay, so I am saying that int x is equal to 0 and I is less than 7, and I am saying that I plus plus. Okay, now I am printing the value of array like this one. So we all know that we will get the exception because the size of the array is 4, means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we are trying to access 7th up to the 7th element. So exception will occur. We all know the result. But suppose that I want to, okay, so suppose that I want to print this value. After that, suppose that after this array, I want to print like this program has been completed. For example, so we know that the exception will occur here because we are accessing the array with more than the limit. So you will see that this statement will not be executed. Okay, you can see the exception has been occurred, but we are not able to print out this value. So this is the main drawback of the exception. Means whenever the exception will appear, the all the lines or all the codes are written after that one will not be executed. So it is mandatory to handle the exception in your Java. Okay, so a lot of definitions are available all about the exception, about a lot of the theories are there. So always I will explain you by very simple way so that you can easy to understand and also you can apply in your real time projects or something. So let me create a new. So always remember there is a two kinds of thing. First is the error and second is the exception. Okay, so what is the error? What does this mean by the error? So basically error is related to the environment in which application are running. Okay, so error basically cannot be recovered. Okay, for example that you have a pen drive and you have a size of pen drive is 2 GB and you are trying to you have cut data from somewhere and trying to paste that data in the pen drive. So it may happen that your data will get lost. Okay, so basically errors are basically cannot be recovered. Basically they are fatal in the nature and they are basically related to your environment. And suppose that error can also appear that you have missed some braces, some curly braces, some sign greater than equal to sign, these kind of things. Okay, so error basically you can say a human mistake. But exception, we can divide the exception in the two parts. So we will first discuss the different classes, and then we will start with the you can say uh, actual implementation of the exception. Okay. So first of all, let me start with one more thing like exception. So exceptions are divided into two parts: checked exception and unchecked exception. Unchecked exception. Okay. So in Java, you will get only two types of the exception: unchecked or checked. So let me write them once more in a proper manner. So there will be only two types of exception, like checked exception. Exception. Okay. So this is also known as compile time exception. Compile time exception. And also second thing is a unchecked exception. Unchecked exception. It is also known as runtime exception. So I always remember, suppose that you are inside your home. Suppose that you are the person who is living inside a home. So if whenever you are inside the home, you do not care about your hair, about your dress. So that what does this mean? That you are inside the home, you do not care much more about your look and something. Okay. But whenever you are going outside of your home, so you will care about all the things like your hair, your dress style, your shoes wear, all the things. Okay. So same way Java will work. Whenever your Java source code is going to connect with some outside of world, so checked exception will appear. Means your compiler will check whether this program is good or not. But when your program is not going outside of the your application, then it will be unchecked. Okay. Now let's see what will happen actually. So what is actually happening here? So here in your checked exception, when the compiler will check is there any exception, it will not convert your source file to the .class file. Means no binary code will be created. Okay, so he will not accept your source code and he will not create your .class file. But here it will not happen. It will be converted into the class file, but the error will exception will appear. Okay, so let me discuss some more, you can say, inheritance or hierarchy of the Java exception so that you will get much more clear. So, whatever I am trying to explain here, only these all things will be asked and these all things will be used in your real time scenario. So, always remember the top class of the exception is throwable class. Okay, so let me create a throwable class, this one. So, the top class will be the throw. We will discuss about throw, throwable, and throw. These all things we will discuss in deep. So it may take, as I told you, one or two sessions. Now inside the throwable, there are two things. First will be, you can say, exception, and second will be errors. Okay. So second will be the error. Now inside the exception, there is a four kind of exception. Always remember. So there is a four kind of exception. First, second, third, and fourth. Okay. Now there is a four kind of exception which are connected to them like this way. So first the exception will be called as a input output exception. It's also known as IO exception. Second exception is the SQL exception. Means when you will use the JDBC ODBC and you are going to connect some outer world. Third exception will be class not found exception. Okay, that means your JVM is not able to find the class. Okay, class not found exception. Okay, and the last will be the runtime exception. Runtime exception. So these all things basically cover with the exception. Only this kind of exceptions you will face in your life. Now, what about the error? So errors, let me explain you. Suppose that you are facing something like yes. Okay. So first will be a stack overflow. Stack overflow. You will get such kind of scenario when you will run a code simultaneously and there is a small space. You will get error like that. Heap memory has out of space. This kind of error you will get whenever you will run a very large program. Okay. So second will be the you can say that the virtual machine error. This is also known as the error. So whenever you will work on the virtual machine, you will face such kind of issues. So virtual machine errors. Now out of memory error, as I told you. Okay. So we will discuss about stack and memory allocation in much more in our next session. So as I told you, out of memory means whatever the RAM is picked by or resolved by your JVM is now or is now out of memory, means it has been full. So you need to configure much more, or you have to clean, or you have to make your memory little bit so errors are not too much important, but for the interview purpose you should know about the hierarchy of your you can say that the exception. Okay, so it do not start from the exception, basically it will start from a throwable. Now these exception and error class just inherit these all one, and then we will move further on. Okay, now let's discuss much more about the runtime exception. Okay, so again the runtime exception is divided into the four parts. Okay, so runtime exception again is divided into the four parts. So I will explain these four parts here. Okay, so the first part of the is arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception. Exception, each and everything will be used in your Selenium. That's why I am covering the complete thing. You will see that input, output, class, not found, SQL, runtime, each thing will be used in your Selenium. And also the null pointer exception. We will discuss about these all things in our example also. Now the number format exception. Number format exception. Now one more exception. Index out of bound, as the array we have seen. So index, it's not only for array. There's a lot of things that we will get index out of bound. Okay, now let's move much more. And now index out of bound again further divided into the four subparts. Again it is divided into the two subparts. Your index out of bound. What kind of two parts are there? Let me explain this one. So array index of bound and string index out of bound. There are two much more index of bound kind of exception. Okay, first will be array index of bound that we have recently seen for example array index out of bound exception. And again we have the string index out of bounds exception. Okay, so it's all about the exception. So whenever you will go for the interview or whenever you are working in an organization, you will see all the exception in your programming language. No matter where you seeing, sometime you will see the stack overflow, sometime index out of bound, class not found, SQL while connecting with the this one. So this one. So this is a kind of you can say uh, exception. Okay. So we will discuss about each and every exception and one by one. Okay. So before that, I will introduce one more thing like scanner class in the Java. So let me remove this one. So there is a scanner class. Okay. So what it will do, it will just take the input from the user. So you just need to create the object of your scanner class, and here you have to pass the value like system dot in because we are taking the input. Okay. Now I have to import the scanner class. Okay. So you will see that this is available in the java.util package. Now suppose that you have to print a message first of all, like sys out, and enter your name. Now you can collect that name in a string, and I will say that scn object name dot. There is a lot of method like next line, next line for the string scanner. So whatever you want to use, you can use. For the string, for the number, we have different methods. Now let me run this one. Uh, this one. So suppose that I'm saying that uh, okay. So we in between I will cover two topics, package and scanner, and after that we will start the implementation of the exception. So it will get easy to understand. So I am running this program. So you can see it is asking me about my name. So I will enter my name like Chandramouli. Then I will hit the enter. So you will print the value. Okay. So this is the way that also it always remember it will take only the first string. If I want to run again, then I have to give the continuous as a string like Chandan C this way. Okay, this way. So this is a small concept that I'm explaining. And before starting the exception, I will explain one more thing like a package. Okay, then after we will start the implementing the different exceptions, and we will try to cover each exception with the example. Okay, so always the package concept I have not discussed yet. So it's a small one. So suppose that the main benefit of the package is this one, that if suppose that I want to create a class with the same name due to any reason, but I will not be able to create that class. Okay, so but if I have the different package, like this is a class available in my this package com.lang beginner there. Now the same class I want to create here, it will not allow me to create here. For example, if I'll go to here and I will right click and I will create a class like a new class, and I will say same name. So it will say that type already exists. So it will not allow me to create the class with the same name. So to avoid to cover such kind of scenario, to handle such kind of situation, we have the packaging concept. Okay. So we will just go to here, we will right click and we will go to here and we will get a class. Now in the second class I can create the class with the same name. Okay. Now let's move this one. Suppose that I have a class in a second package, and then we can create the our you can say methods and whatever we want to perform the operation. So this is the first benefit, as I told you, to for the package. Second thing also, suppose that there is a class like practice Java in the other package. Okay, so now suppose that there is a class, and it is there is again a class. So there is a child parent relationship by extend keyword. So whenever you want to uh, create the object of this class, so you have to import the same package. Okay, this one. So it will ask you to import the package. If you go to here, you will check that your package com.long.pack2 and class name has been appeared. So what is, if you see this example clearly, so we are importing two kinds of the package. First is the Java util.scanner class package. So second is the your own build package. So the package concept is very simple. Package means you are having similar kind of things, classes and methods in a one place, and similar kind of things of the classes and methods in the another class in another place of another package. Okay, so it is very good to, if you have any concern like that, you have to create two classes with the same name, you can achieve this concept by the package only. Okay, so in this way you can uh, import your package, and when you will import your package, you can access all the classes of that package. Okay, so by using this one I can go here and I will execute my methods. Like there is a sum method in my class, so you can see that this is sum method, and also the parent class method we can also access. Okay, so I will say that obj dot parent class method like g. So let me run this one. Okay, so you can see that this is the beauty of package. Okay, now I will cover one more example of the arithmetic exception, and remaining part we will cover after that. Okay, so suppose that, let me remove these all things not required anymore. So I will cover one more example of the arithmetic exception. So suppose that uh, we have a very simple example, like we have an integer x is equal to 10. Okay, now again we have integer y is equal to 0. Now again I have integer int z is equal to x oblique y. So we know that in such a case x will be divided by 0. So output will be infinite. That means there will be exception will appear. If it appear. So if I will print that value of z, so you will see there will be a exception. Please read this exception. Arithmetic exception. Okay, so how to handle such kind of situation? There is a two way to handle the situation. As in our general life, if we have seen, if there is a problem, then how do we handle that problem? So in general life, what we human beings used to do, if there is a problem, so we will handle this problem. If there is any problem, or we are expecting that a problem P1 can appear in future, so what we will do? We will try to handle this one either. Okay, either we will try or to handle this one, we will create the scenario handle, or what we will do, we will just throw the problem and we will say what will happen, I will see when the time will appear. So the same concept will follow the Java. Okay, so exception can be handled by two way. Either you have to handle or you can throw the exception. Okay, so suppose that there is a arithmetic exception, so how it will be covered? So there is first we will discuss about the try and catch a block. So suppose that there is a try block. Okay, and try cannot be alone used, so you have to use as a catch a block. This is a catch. And also you have to give your exception name here. Okay, so the common class is exception for all the cases, and you can just say this out control space, and you can print the value of e. And suppose that you want this, you have more code after this one, so I am running now. You can see that what will happen actually. Okay, so here we will get the exception, then it will not be executed. Let me run this. Okay, now you will getting a more meaningful message like java.lang.arithmetic exception by 0. Okay, so you have seen that exception has been appeared, and again we have handled by the try and catch a block, but still we are not able to execute this code. So we use the finally keyword here. So about these all things, about individual exception and about finally keyword, we will discuss in our next session. So if anybody have any doubt, he can ask. So it's all about the exception that we have discussed theory part, and also the string builder and string buffer. If anybody have any question, feel free to ask me.